Turnovers take a bite out of the Washington Wizards as they lose to the Toronto Raptors 106-82. Turnovers, man, continue to be an issue, but we're going to talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Good Lord, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Wizards Daily Newsletter, a one-stop shop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Wizards newsletter. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And again tonight, it's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy AB. And the Washington Wizards, man, turnovers take a bite out of the Wizards as they lose to the Toronto Raptors 106-82. So looking at the tail of the tape real quick, AB, before I get your take on the game, man, turnovers were killing tonight. 27 turnovers, which led to 32 points off of turnovers. But that was not all. Not all. As fluid ball movement did kill the Wizards also. 31 assists. So ball movement killed the Wizards with just look, we know they are slow off of defensive switches, and closing out the shooters has been an issue this year. Some other numbers to look at real quick, AB, 47% from the field and 35% from three compared to our 16% from three. So was the turnovers a lone factor, or was the fact that with the Wizards being so slow on switches and slow to really close out the shooters, was that an additional kind of an issue tonight against the Raptors?
I think the combination of things again, perimeter. It's kind of funny because 106 points, honestly, for the Wizards, especially since we've seen this season, that's not that bad compared to like the 130s and 140s and 120s we've seen. But at the end of the day, 82 points, it's hard to win when you're scoring that many points, and offensively, no ball movement, that low percentage from shooting, the turnovers, points off turnovers, put all that together, it's just accumulated to a 24-point loss.
Can't argue with that. I mean, turnovers were a killer. 27 turnovers. You're not going to win many games, if any games at all, with 27 turnovers, man. Regardless of the sport. I mean, you don't see too many, I guess, technical turnovers in baseball, but in football, basketball, turnovers are a killer. You do not win many games if you turn the ball over. And 27 turnovers, man, I mean, is a killer. And like I said, the Toronto Raptors, they capitalized. They also, with fluid ball movement, 31 assists. So with fluid ball movement, again, is the recipe to defeating the Wizards defense, because defensive switches, switching off defenders. There was a wide open dunk by Scotty Barnes right underneath the hoop, man, where he literally stood there for 2 seconds and looked around and dunked the ball. And it is because the switches, the communication on defense is bad. They don't communicate. Transition defense is bad. They don't communicate. They don't close out the shooters. They don't make their switches fast enough. And if you have fluid ball movement, if you're going to defeat this defense, and it doesn't take much. So it's the same issues. And like I said, I say it time and time again, the issues aren't going anywhere. The deadline is coming up next week. And with that, this team will be younger in the second half of the season, which means, look, there's going to be a lot more mistakes, which I'm not totally against. If it's going to be a young team, you want them to make their mistakes now in the second half of the season. Do need to see some progression going into next year, but obviously we got a lot of time to talk about that before we hit into the next regular season. But I mean, need to see some kind of progression in next year. And in saying that, I want to see something in the second half, which is get these young guys a lot of minutes. But turnover is going to happen. It's not something that's going to change this year. And I mean, right now, it's been an issue all year long. So like I said, Toronto, I mean, let's not act like the Toronto Raptors are that much better. I mean, they're 15-32 right now. They're 13th in the East. We're 15th in the East. So, I mean, they're only 2 slots ahead of us. And their team is, they're looking to be in the top 10, if not the top 5 in the NBA draft. So they weren't that much better. Scotty Barnes, he's going to get his, AB. But if you look at the stats right now, I mean, it was Scotty Barnes. I mean, you can argue their second unit really stepped up for them. I mean, Sheed had 10 points, Robinson had 10 points, and Bruce Brown had 10 points. But I mean, they had 8 guys in double figures. And if you look at Portal, I mean, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. So I mean, looking at the Wizards, they did have their bright moments. Kuzma had a good night. I mean, the defense, Toronto did their game plan. They really did, because they practically took Jordan Poole out of the game. I mean, he was not effective at all. I mean, and that's because they game planned against him. They knew they had to force Kuz to be that lone guy to lead the way as far as scoring, and really challenge Bilal Coulibaly to really step up. And tonight was not Bilal's best night. He had some, a couple of highlights, man, but 8 points from 1 for 6 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. And then 4 turnovers really was, one stat to look at. So I mean, really, who's your third or fourth scorer, or really your second or third scorer to really step up? And you really can't see anybody really stepped up. I mean, Shimpany, not bad. 12.6 rebounds off the second unit. An efficiency of 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. 2 blocks, 2 steals. So Shimpany, again, you need to pay this brother. Keep him around. You pay Shimpany. Keep him around because he is a baller. He produces. But, I mean, it was Kuz. That was it. I mean, Kuz, 19 points, 10 rebounds. So he got in there, got those boards. 1 assist, 7 for 14 for the field. So you can't knock him for inefficient. He was shooting 50%, 5 for 8 for the charity strike. So definitely got to hit those. But 3 turnovers. But it was Kuz leading the way. And you really didn't have that second or third score because, again, Toronto practically took Jordan Poole out of the game. I mean, they game plan. They really did. And that's what you want to see. I mean, that's coaching. I mean, you can argue to a certain degree. I'll ask you this question real quick. Can you say that BK was outcoached? I mean, when you look at the fact that you look at the game plan for Toronto, they took JP out of the game, man.
Yeah, no, definitely you can make that case. I know it also, you got to factor in the fact that Alex Sarr didn't play. I feel like if Alex Sarr does play offensively, it would have been a little bit better, more than 82 points. And I'm going to be honest, RJ Barrett, I thought he was going to have a pretty good game because there's always that one guy against the Wizards that just goes off. Only kept to, I think, 11, 10 points. So that's good. But at the end of the day, the Wizards is just like, again, Kuzma, 19 and 10, that's awesome. It's a good thing he didn't say anything crazy after the presser that it wasn't too long ago that we talked about. But at the end of the day, like, there's just no ball movement, no fluidity. And I get it. This team bottom 3 in the NBA. But the reality of the situation is we want to see better as fans, and we want to see some improvement. And losing to a team that's going to have a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft by 20 plus, that's concerning, especially since we're going to the second half of the season. It's just, again, people bring up the question, will the Wizards win another game? I don't want to say no, but it's just like when you see stuff like this, like what happened tonight, losing to a team like that, it's cause for concern.
No, I agree 100%. You want to see progression going in next year. I mean, like I said, we know that next year is another rebuilding year. You're probably looking at, 3 years of rebuilding. The 2 years after that, they're looking to make some significant moves. And then, hopefully at that point, hitting the ground running. But we need some progression. But, get back to the night. I mean, turnovers is an issue that's not going to go away this year. I mean, when we get younger, they're going to have a lot of mistakes. And a lot of that has to do with being such a youthful roster. I mean, your top 2 options is Jordan Poole, which you can argue has played at all-star level this season. Kyle Kuzma, who you can argue the last couple seasons has played at all-star level. But obviously, team performance is going to be that one thing that's going to hinder anybody getting an all-star berth here. Even though we're going to talk about, we got some guys heading to San Francisco for the all-star break. So, but like I said, turnovers kill us. And it's something that's not going to get better. I can't really put this on BK. It's on the players, man. I mean, they got it to play turnover-free basketball. I mean, 27 turnovers, you're not going to win that game. And like I said, Toronto wasn't that much better. I mean, they're 13th in the East, so they weren't that much better. It was Scotty Barnes, and like I said, you had 8 guys in double figures, so they came together collectively. When you look at the Wizards, I think, yes, I agree 100% AB. Alex Sarr not being here had a factor. You needed somebody to be that second or third or even fourth scorer, and you did not see that. And who stepped up? Because, look, with Jordan Poole out of the game, you have to have the guys, obviously, look, Kuzma, he's going to be more aggressive. He's going to be the guy who's going to make up for that loss of Jordan Poole being game planned against and being taken out of the game. Allowed, not his best night. I mean, you didn't have a clear guy that really stepped up. You had people that were all right. Rashawn Holmes, I believe, played good minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, but he's very limited offensively. But he's a hustle guy. He's a dog in the paint. He's a guy that, he's always great energy. But you didn't have anybody else that really emerged as being that, to help Kuz out in that department. So it was Kuz because, like I said, I don't think it's so much Jordan Poole struggling. They did a good job defending him. I mean, they took him out the game. And like I said, there's so much that Jordan Poole could have done, man, because they did a good job preventing him. He had 3 points. So they did a great job defending Jordan Poole. And they challenged, Kuz, and not so much Kuz because, look, we know what Kuz can do. He can score. He's definitely the number 2 scorer behind JP. But I think they challenged the rest of the team to step up. Who's going to be that second and third guy? And tonight you did not see that. So, like I said, I believe that, you say winnable. I feel like Portal versus Valanciunas was a good matchup. I mean, Valanciunas, 6 points, 11 rebounds. He got his board numbers, but I mean, Portal, he plays as hard, man. So Sarr was definitely missed. So, all right, we're going to get into 3 players that heading to San Francisco in the Rising Stars Challenge. And Justin Shimpany is in the G League All-Star Game, including Jaden Noel, man. So a lot to talk about with the All-Star Game coming up and the trade deadline coming up. And then if we have some time, man, Bradley Beal added again. So we're going to talk a little bit about Bradley Beal and this saga in Phoenix, and then we're going to get into comments and start this night off like we always do. But before we do, y'all, tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. But look, attending NFL playoffs games is an unforgettable experience that brings fans together. Let me tell you, especially the NFC Championship game. Good Lord. But Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, man. It's that easy. And like I said, guys, I use Game Time all the time. Baseball season's coming up, man. So like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to I'm a Nats fan. My wife's an O's fan, so they finally have a game on the weekend at Camden Yards where the Nats visit the O's. So I look forward to talking a bunch of junk to my wife. It's going to be a long drive home, but it is what it is. But like I said, I go to games all the time, and Game Time is the perfect app compared to the others because, look, you get your view from your seat before you buy. You know, you don't have all these fees that make a $50 ticket an $80 to $100 ticket. But look, don't take my word for it. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, so before we get into comments, real quick, I'm gonna read this straight from the press release from the Wizards, and they have 3 players headed to the Rising Stars Challenge. Obviously, sophomore Bilal Coulibaly, so shout out to Be Cool, and Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington are headed to San Francisco as part of the Rising Stars Challenge. Obviously, Bilal Coulibaly will be on the sophomore squad, and Bub Carrington and Alex Sarr will be on the rookie squad. But they're not the only ones. Justin Champagnie is on his way to San Francisco also with Jaden Noel as part of the G League All-Star game. So like I said, we got 5 guys from a young and up-and-coming Wizards team. So is this a kind of a sign that we're headed down the right direction?
1,000%, B. I was about to ask you, is this some type of record, at least with the 3 young guys when it comes to, was it a Washington record?
Yes, this is the first time that we've had 3 selections in team history. So this is definitely a sign for things to come. So
huge fits the timeline. Again, this is something that we want to see, young guys going out there and balling out, and it's just only going to get better from here. And I can't wait. Champagnie, his impact he's had on this team. I mean, again, Capital City, go Gem. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's a long road, man. It's about the journey. I get it, guys. Year 2 of a rebuild. It's the quality of basketball, and it's been bad. And I get it. You kind of want to see the culture solidified by BK, playing teams hard, playing to win these games. And it can't be disparaging to see them get blown out. But like I said, it's going to get younger after the deadline. And you want to see them build that chemistry with each other. I see you checking out your lineup. I see you over there.
Sorry, B, my bad. I was come up OCD, man. My bad.
Hey, for all you listeners on the podcast side, man, AB over here trying to be GQ, so it's all good. But no, it's a sign for things to come, man. Like I said, you got 3 players in the first time in team history that are going to the Rising Stars Challenge, man. That is a sign for things to come. We have a nice young core. You got the 2025 draft coming up. You got Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, and Ace Bailey. You can't miss what either one.
Cooper Flag, I know you've been watching him recently, B. Oh my goodness.
Oh my Lord. I mean, my wife is a Tar Heels fan, so I can't really root too hard for the Blue Devils, man. But I mean, the brother can play. I mean, Cooper Flag is a real deal. So I think he looked good in the Wizards uniform. I'm just saying. But we're definitely heading in the right direction. It takes time. Now, don't get into it. So I wanted to say this. You definitely want to see some progression going into year 3, especially from, Bilal Coulibaly. He has to make that official. He's got to hit that next gear. You know what I mean? And you definitely want to see some progression from, Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, and Tristan Vucevic. I think you definitely need to feature him a lot more in the second half of the season. But this young core is nice. I like this young core. Now, I do want to build on it. Cooper Flag, I think, is obviously number 1. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, you can't miss. I don't even want to say this, but somehow we move out of the top 3. There is talent in this draft. So I know people won't be happy, but there is massive talent in the top 10. But I do not see us. I have a feeling we're going to number 1. And like I said, you can call me kind of superstitious, but the last time we got number 1, man, it was the same year the Nats got number 1. So I'm just saying, history always repeats itself. So I do have a feeling that Cooper Flag could be a Wizard. I did. Hey, look, give credit where it's due. I did predict Alex Sarr coming to Washington, man. So like I said, I think that is a good chance we get Cooper Flag. So real quick, we're going into the comments, but the question tonight is this. There was a story about Phoenix Suns fans heckling Bradley Beal. And obviously there was a statement put out not only by Bradley Beal, but by his wife about how his wife and their kids were, visibly upset about certain comments made at Bradley Beal. So I'm gonna get your take on it, and then I'm gonna make this the question tonight. So I want everybody to kind of give me your spill on it. But sports, you know what I mean? These guys make a lot of money to play sports. So, I mean, where do you draw the line, AB? Do you think that fans have that right to criticize players knowing how much they make? And at what point does it become kind of out of bounds? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, for me, I think there's a difference between criticism and harassment. You gotta. There's two different things. Again, these guys are getting paid millions to play a child's game. If they're not playing well, they deserve criticism, and especially when they're making comments post game where they complaining about stuff, or you kind of being like a small diva or whatever it is. But if you're hacking people's families, like I will never understand people that go on Instagram, social media, and just start harassing people and like and their relatives and just their neighbors and just commenting crazy things. And those people, those athletes, eventually have to turn off their comment section. That's just so unnecessary. And to me, I'm gonna be honest, this is what do you get out of that? Generally, do you really think that like being so critical and just saying disgusting stuff to that athlete is gonna make them play better on the court or on the field or whatever it is? It just doesn't make any sense. And us fans, like, we gotta realize at the end of the day, these people are humans. They have feelings too. So it just, to me, I've never been a fan of it. I don't think it should ever be accepted. I think people who do that, to me, it's just loser mentality. I don't want to be so rude, but at the end of the day, that's the reality situation. Why the heck in anyone's mind do you think you have the right to do stuff like that just because they're going out there playing a child's game? I get they're making a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they're human and they have feelings.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree to a certain point. I do agree. I will say this. Anything racial is out of bounds. Don't attack anybody racial. Don't go after anybody's religion or sexual orientation, stuff like that. I mean, don't go personal about it. But I will say this, let's be real. If you look at this last election, people had choice words for the other person they did not want in the office. If politicians, if the military, if the police force, if so many other aspects of society can be criticized for not doing their job, $1 million basketball player can. Now, when people heckling them, I don't see the problem with that. Look, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, this is sports in America is big time. Like, it's Phoenix. He better be lucky it ain't Philadelphia. He better be lucky it ain't New York. I'm just saying, like, I've never had a problem with people heckling unless you get personal. Now, if you're going at somebody's family, that's totally different. I don't think that was the case. I think that his wife heard comments that she didn't agree with. The kids are crying, all that. I get it, man. But, here's my thing, man. You're in an arena with a bunch of, a lot of people who are drinking alcohol. People are sitting there putting parlays in. I mean, you're in an environment where, Piper, who's you put them in the suite. Like, I'm just being real with you. I have no problem with people heckling as long as you stay respectful about it. I mean, look, let's be real. I mean, he's making how much money? I mean, look, if you ain't playing up the par, people come back. They're going to come at you, AB. And that's the nature of the game. I mean, that's something that's always been associated with sports. And it's not going anywhere because it's $1 billion industry. Look, if you are a middle class guy who's paid $350 for a ticket and had to drive in an hour and a half, I have no problem with you being, yelling at them. I have no problem with it. That's part of the sports. But like I said, to me, once you get racial, once you get anything that has to do with anybody, it personally, or and like I said, I didn't see his family being threatened. I think that they just didn't like what they heard. But it is what it is. I mean, you bring your kids to a game, and it is what it is. I mean, it's not. You can say, is it right? No. You don't want your kids to be seated in the area where somebody's sitting there dropping the F-bomb all the time. Like I said, I brought my kids who games at FedEx, Cap One, and yeah, I mean, most of the time it's been a good experience. But yeah, those times where people drink a little bit, they're gonna curse, and obviously, what can you say? They pay for their tickets like you did, and as long as you're not really going up and beyond being stupid, there's not much you can really say. What are you gonna say? I mean, the team is gonna have more loyalty towards somebody who paid for a ticket. So I think that we know Bradley Beal could be a little sensitive. He was sensitive going all the way back to his time in DC. He's been known to have people around him that are yes people, people that are going to tell him that roses are red every 5 minutes. And to me, it's just that's unrealistic as a player. You're going to get criticized. Obviously we've seen what happened with a current Wizards player and their mother, and going back and forth with fans and stuff like that. It's like, where do you draw the line? Well, as long as you're not personal, I don't have a problem with people going after the player because, like I said, you're judged like everybody else. You make a lot of money. You're going to be judged. You're going to be judged. People are going to yell at you because you're being paid $50 million to play a child's game. And if everybody else in not only American society, but around the world can be judged based on, look, if we could judge a UPS man, how he drops our package off, we can judge a guy making $50 million playing basketball. I'm just saying, because they'd be quick to go fire that UPS guy and throw that package on the porch. So I'm just saying, if you make that money, along, with that money comes criticism. People have the ability to criticize your game. So, like I said, I feel like it was tad bit being sensitive a little bit because, you don't want your kids around it. I get that, man. But that's the risk you take bringing your kids into the arena with a bunch of people who, let's be real, people are drinking. I mean, people are going to drink. People, that's just the nature of the beast. So, I mean, I would recommend put them in a suite, put them in an environment where they don't have to be around that type of environment. But if you're going to have your kids courtside or whatever, that's the risk you take. So, you guys get.
Let's just hope his kids don't go to Eagles game. They don't play over there at Lincoln Financial, man.
Good Lord. You better be lucky they ain't go to the Eagles game, man, because they would be the one crying, man. I'm just saying, like, it's the nature of the beast, man. It's sports. People take it serious. And should some people take it as serious as they do? Nah, man. But it is what it is because it's $1 billion industry. Now, when you got betting involved, you have people out there, and I'm not saying it's right because I know that Bradley Bill got into it with a couple people in Washington where they were, complaining about their parlay. It's like, come on, bro, it's a parlay. Like, really? So, I get it from both perspectives. I get it from a player's perspective. But people are going to be talking that stuff, man. Every arena in the NBA, every arena. Shoot, baseball? Come on now. I mean, look, man, I went to the game right in 2019, man, the year we won the World Series Nats, man. I went to the first game Bryce Harper came back. Yeah, we heard some choice words for Bryce Harper. And I love me some Bryce Harper, but that's the nature of the beast in sports, man. So, like I said, it is what it is. I'm sorry the kids had to go through that, but look, man, it's the nature of the beast. So you guys get in the comment section. Let me and AB know, what is your perspective? Do you think, where's the line? And do you think the heckling fans of Phoenix were right or wrong in that interaction? All right, so we're going to get in the comments real quick. All right, let's get into it, man. All right, it's like we always do. Oh, Edian's starting things off tonight. Appreciate you. All right, Edian says Cooper Flag. Absolutely. I think we're definitely heading in the right direction for Cooper Flag. That is not even a problem. Bucker Getter says, what happened, man? This isn't the same team from the beginning of the year. Yeah, you don't see them really fighting hard like they used to, fighting for 4 quarters, man. It's really how they start. They started rough the last couple of games, man. I mean, I believe it was the Mavericks gave it to them, and then Toronto that first quarter, it wouldn't look good early on. So you've got to play 4 quarters. You got to start. You got to play. You got to play 100% from start to finish, and they have not been doing that. So, Bucket Getter says Kuz and JP experiment was not it for some reason. They can never have good games together in these last 2 seasons. Well, I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I say all the time, guys. That I think the question is not so much your first and second option. We know it's going to be Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. The biggest thing is, and when teams game plan against us, is who we need that third or fourth guy to step up, even that fifth guy. Jonas Valanciunas has been doing a great job being that fifth guy, at times fourth guy, even if third guy at times. But look, the game plan is shut one of them down. If Kuz is having a bad shooting night, force JP to take the lead and be that guy. But the question is, who's going to be the guy that backs him up? Who's that second or third option? And Bilal, we went, at this stage, especially the second half, but right now you want to see Bilal take the round, take that step to be that third scorer. That's what I'm looking for. I want Bilal to be that third scorer and Alex Sarr to be that fourth scorer, even though he was out. So that the question is not so much, JP or Kuz, because look, any given night, one of them are going to struggle. Both are going to struggle. We need of all people, Bilal, Alex Sarr, you need Bub, to really step up for us. I mean, do you agree or disagree, AB?
No, definitely, because again, like these vets, 1 or 2 of them are going to be gone in a couple of weeks, and you can't rely on them to drop that 15 to 20-point game. We need the young guys to step up. Kispert, one of them as well, because he's got that contract. So again, it just all goes back to it's going to take some time, trust the process, development, and there's going to be a lot of hiccups, a lot of bumps in the road, but that's the reality of the situation. That's how you build a championship team here.
I agree 100%. Armand, what's up? Says turnover is not the sole factor. Could also be the extreme lack of talent. Amen. I mean, it's gonna be a talent gap most nights. So I agree 100%.
But the thing is, I agree with that. But at the end of the day, the Raptors are 16 games below 500. There's no excuse to lose by 20 plus points though.
Yeah, I mean, to me, and this is my humble opinion, it's just bad basketball. And the reason for that is because very often not you have a big, whether it's Alex Sarr, or half the time, because Alex Sarr he's guilty for being on the perimeter all the time too. Is that you usually have 4 guys in the perimeter who don't move at all, and a guy in the paint, and it's just pick and pop every daggone time. I mean, nobody moves. I mean, what happened to the skill of moving out the basketball? It's gone. I mean, you don't see anybody move, and it's not just a Wizards problem. It's a league-wide problem. It's a basketball problem. And because again, AB, we said this time and time again, kids, especially in the United States, are not learning the fundamentals of basketball, man. They're not learning anything. AAU is trying to get these guys to dunk and shoot logo threes, and the rest of the world is catching up because they're teaching their kids how to be professionals, how to learn the fundamentals of basketball. It's hard to watch at times because you don't see anybody moving. Corey Kispert is one of those guys who usually move at the basketball, but other than him, JP's done, he's done well. Keyshawn George does well at times moving out the basketball. But nobody's moving. It's 4 guys just sitting on the perimeter. And then you have Jonathan Jr. come up, set a pick, it's pick and pop. The bigs aren't even moving to the lane most of the time. It's just it's lethargic, man. Nobody's moving, and it's frustrating. And I'm gonna ask you real quick, AB, is it the lack of play calling, or is this what the NBA is now? A perimeter driven league to a fault?
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as I love Steph Curry, and I don't want to blame it on him. It kind of changed the game because, again, this whole isolation ball, lack of ball movement, it really does irk me because, back in the day, it was a lot of ball screens, calling it out and just everyone being loud and active. I remember playing in high school, it was just like scream defensively, call up the screen, switch and all of that. But now it's just, there's not that much, especially we see here in DC. But at the end of the day, again, a young team, there's going to be a lot of hiccups, like I mentioned, and just going to be a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room.
Yep. I can't argue with that. Some breaking news real quick by Chris Hutchins. He said, hey guys, there was a plane crash in the Potomac. Again, plane crash in the Potomac. So if you're a praying person, definitely hearts and prayers to whoever's involved with the plane crash. Hopefully there's no loss of life. But like I said, if you're a praying person like myself, definitely keep them in your prayers, man. Appreciate you, Chris, man, for letting us know breaking news in the DMV. Locked in Law says if a minimum wage employee can be told to shut up and do their job, so can a multi-million-dollar basketball player. I agree 100%. I'd get tired of the whole, don't. Here's my thing. And like I said, I'm going to keep it basketball. I might veer a little bit, but I'm going to keep it basketball. But this is a conversation I had with my wife, man. And like I said, I'm really reacting to, a lot of things happening over the course of the last couple of days, whether, Kyle Kuzma or Bradley Beal. And it's like this, man. And then people are, there's people in there like defending, where's the empathy? But here's the thing, man. Very often in this world, man, we can walk past somebody who's homeless, or we can walk past somebody who may be special needs, or other people in society, and we'll walk by them and wouldn't pay them 5 seconds of our time. But we're busy and we're really beating ourselves up over a guy who makes millions of dollars who struggles at his job. And people are like, show empathy. But then you see a guy who's like rolled up in DC living on an event, man. And it's like, it's just, it kills you. It really does. It's like, I love me some basketball. I love sports, man. But it's like, yeah, I agree with Locked on Law. If a minimum wage guy at McDonald's can get fired for not putting tartar sauce on a McFish, then he can be criticized. And I agree 100%. So definitely appreciate your perspective. Stuart O'Flaherty says their whole style of fast paced, get up 100 shots a game sucks. What are they trying to be? The 80s Nuggets? Good comparison. They never won, and Alex English isn't coming to help. I love the comparison. They should focus on defense. And that's what I'm saying, AB. It's the quality of basketball that stinks, man. Everybody's on the perimeter watching. Nobody even, today you had Jonas Valanciunas who got doubled and triple teamed, and you had one guy come over there to help. Everybody else is like, lollygagging on the perimeter. It's like, move it at the basketball. Move. I don't understand why you have 4 guys just watching the whole game unfold. It's frustrating, man. Studio Fatty says Bill should leave his spoiled. Oh Lord, many of their kids at home. I respect the perspective. Like I said, that when you bring your kids into the arena, man, that you run that risk. And like I said, it's not, it's not right or wrong. It's the risk you take. If you go to Anacostia at 3:00 in the morning, man, do not be surprised if you don't have a car. I'm just being real. Like you have to know what you're getting yourself into, man. Like, let's be real. So let's see. I don't speak Hebrew, but I definitely appreciate you watching the show. It says Denny is shining. Thanks to Washington trading him for Brogdon. Great decision. JP 3 points in a game, 1 for 5, quiet and solid game. I'm glad he's doing well, but it is what it is. I do miss Denny, but
I just thought he had 30. I think that's what he's talking about. That was that kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, I wish him well. Like I said, Denny, from just covering the team from a media standpoint, he was a really nice person, really nice guy, easy to like. Daniel Gafford, another guy that I really liked. I wish them both well. They're both playing real good basketball, but the ship has sailed, man. But he's found his spot in Portland, so I'm glad for him, man. But Like I said, that ship has sailed. I can't, wasn't a big fan of the trade, but it is what it is at this point. Let's see. Justin Pilkington says, also, I feel like once Kuzma's gone, we can really judge young players on this team. Oh, good point. Yeah, I agree 100%. Within the second half of the season and next year is the time where you need to see that progression from the young guys. Because really, in the first couple of years of the rebuild last year and this year, a lot of the pressure is on, Michael Winger, Will Dawkins, finding, find those diamonds in the rough in the draft, hitting draft picks, getting active in the trade market, hitting in the free agent market. I mean, and obviously with BK, being development head coach, definitely instilling a defensive system. But look, within the second half of this season and next year, AB, look, it's time to finally see what you have in these young guys. Because look, after year 3, you need to see some kind of progression. Because year 4, you're looking to make some significant moves, in my opinion. So, let's see. I'm going to do a couple more guys. Lock the Law says they stink. Consider them judged. Fair enough. Let's see. Like I said, I can't pronounce it, but definitely let me know. Let's see. So I am hearing it for 5 years. It's not enough to be young. You also need to know how to hoop. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Look, I mean, like I said, I like this young core we have, but AB, after this season, man, I need to see some progression, especially
something. You need to see something. There's
no
no excuses anymore.
Yeah, I mean, after the second half, man, especially year 3, I want to see Bilal hit that next gear. You know what I mean? And then, these 3 draft picks from this previous draft, definitely want to see some progression for them. And Vucevic, man, I think he's a keeper. I think he can play in very small sample size. He plays good basketball. 7-footer who can stretch the floor and defend. I think he's the backup center of the future for Alex R, in my humble opinion, man. I think we have our starter and backup for the future. So you definitely have to see what you have in Tristan Vucevic. All right. Let's see, this is gonna be the last one, guys. And this is from Rich. How you doing, Rich? Says, let's admit the front office screwed up by not trading Kuz last year when they had a chance. JP is not it. Bill would average 30 points per game on this roster. Bill showed us it's easy to beat a man on a 6-wing team. I mean, let me break this down. I mean, listen, the front office, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a mistake. Not trading Kuz and to me, you could argue not taking on Grant Williams' contract. I'm okay with that. But to me, I would have traded him to Sacramento for the 13th pick. I would have kept Denny. I would have still drafted Bub, and I would still made that move at the 24th pick to go get Keyshawn George. So, I'm with you. And I think that the best chance was at the draft. Draft night was the best chance. And it's going to be one of the first chinks in the armor in this front office. But don't get it twisted. Like I said with BK, like I said with these young players, it's year 2. So give the front office some time. But do we need to see progression going into next year? Yes. We need it. And, that goes to the front office too. They need to hit in this draft. This is a sexy draft, AB. They got to hit in this draft. And I think we're going to be a little better after next year, but we could still be in the situation where Cam Boozer, man, DeBonce at BYU, if you're able to hit in this draft and the next one, you best believe we're going to have a nice, young, dangerous team. So these next couple of drafts are going to be very important, but don't get it twisted. You definitely need to see some progression for these young players heading into year 3. And look, a lot of eyes on Will Dawkins. Just give him the opportunity to cook, because I think he's done a good job so far. He's made mistakes here and there, but not a lot. You can look at Tyus Jones walk for nothing. I feel like that was something that was going to the likelihood is going to happen anyway. But the Kuzma situation was a mistake. I will say that. But I think that they're going to find ways to get out of this. Give them some time. It's way too early to judge them. Like I said, for what I've seen, not only from the perspective of analyst and a media member, but behind the scenes, Will Dawkins knows what he's doing. He's got a blueprint. It's all, it's going, and they both him and Michael Winger said early on, they're not going to take shortcuts. They're going to take the long route. And that's what they're doing. So, let them cook, man, especially in the draft, especially in the offseason, especially the deadline. Next week, y'all. And like I said, Friday, we have the NBA trade deadline preview for me, AB, and Greg Feinberg, man. So, like I said, tune in on Friday. And we're also going to be doing the recap for the Lakers game. But we're going to get into that in a second. So that's going to be it, guys. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk about it now. That's it for comments, guys. I definitely appreciate you guys rocking with your boys tonight. So tomorrow I will be at the Lakers game covering the Wizards. So we will not be going live. It's actually 75-25. There's a chance I will, but I'm trying to get into the post-game press conference, get some questions in to BK and these players for you guys. So if I do attend the post-game press conference, I'm going to put the questions and answers on X, and on YouTube, so you can check out the questions I asked Coach BK and the players following the Lakers and Wizards matchup. And who knows, I might go over there and talk to LeBron, man, and AD. So, like I said,
sure, I might make a quick trip, B. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, come on, man. Like I said, I might go head over there and talk to LeBron, man, and talk to AD, man. So, like I said, I'm definitely gonna we're gonna do both the trade deadline preview and we're gonna recap Thursday night's game against the Lakers on Friday night. So definitely tune in for that. So it might be 2 videos or it might be one big video. So we're going to see. So we might just go ahead and combine it into one video. So, all right, everybody. I definitely appreciate everybody showing up, taking time out of your night to rock with your boys, B, Scott, and AB. So again, I will be down there at Cat 1 representing Locked On, man, trying to cover the team, man. And like I said, it's going to be a long night, but definitely want to see the Wiz kids put up a better fight, man. Like I said, get back to playing 4 quarters, man. Look, we're heading in the right direction, y'all, but keep the faith. Keep the faith, man. Yes, we need to see progression going into year 3, but keep the faith. We're heading in the right direction. We have all the right pieces in the right places, so keep the faith. So again, guys, we will see you guys 7 o'clock on Friday night, going live with me and my guy AB and Greg Feinberg, special guest joining the show. And again, we're going to do a trade deadline preview and a recap for tomorrow night's game against the Lakers. Hail to the Wizards and hey, see you guys next time.